All right, everyone. So the Killing Floor roadmap was released. I think this was 2 days ago. And so now that I've played a bunch of Killing Floor, I wanted to go through this roadmap with you guys because I do think it is so important. Uh, as we've said, Killing Floor, I think is a foundation, right? Killing Floor 3 here. I think the foundation is great. I think the gunplay feels good. I think there is a lot of cool perks. I think there's a lot of cool weapon, classes you could make. And I like the gameplay loop. But right now it just feels like it's a little bit bare bones, right? The missions, the locations, the enemies. It feels like it's the beginning of a game that you could build on. So a great foundation, but needs a little bit more as it pertains to the future, right? We can't stay like this. We need to build and build more. So they released this year one roadmap. So this is the first year of the game. Um, and I also see down here just check calendar and content subject to change. Follow us for more info. So maybe we can get more. Maybe they end up taking away some stuff, which I don't think would be great if they did decide to do that. But let's go through and see. So rearm rearmament update. This is going to happen in 2025. This looks like this is coming before season 2. Perk and specialist decoupling. So this is something people are asking for, right? Right now, you have a certain character tied to a certain perk class, which people rightfully are like, well, I want to use this character with this perk set. Why can't I do that? So they're going to be decoupling that. I think that's important because even when you're going through the supply pass and you're unlocking, the skins and you're unlocking the different outfits and all of that stuff, the problem is that if you're trying to unlock those and you can only use it with a class and set of perks you don't like, people aren't going to be too happy about that. So this is big and it's something they could easily do, right? I don't know how easy it is to actually implement it, but shouldn't be the end of the world. New weapons and mods. Perfect, right? This is continue to do this because right now there's a decent amount of weapons amongst all the classes, right? If you total them all up, but individually in each class, maybe not. One of my favorite parts so far has been kind of the using the create a class to add different weapons and to try those weapons out. The more the merrier. So continue with that, and then quality of life updates and performance improvements. This is what they're doing before season 2. All of these things would be huge. Get rid of the bugs. I've heard crashing from some people. Just the little glitches, the little things here and there. Get rid of all of that. Make this game run as smooth as possible. That would be huge. Add a few new weapons that will get people excited. Decouple, perfect, right? That's perfect for season 1. We then head over to season 2, which once again is still going to be in 2025. You're going to get a whole new specialist, DJ Scully. Now, this is big because by the time this comes out, a lot of us are going to have, hopefully, or I mean, at least I'm hoping for me, to have ranked up all the classes. So when you get a new specialist with new skills, it kind of starts the game over again for you, which I think is super exciting. You're going to get a new map, prison. Okay, this is huge because right now, I don't want to say there's not a lot of maps because there's enough, but there is still not like this isn't like you're playing Killing Floor 2 or Killing Floor 1 where you have all these mods and all these different maps and all these things. No, no, no. It's foundation right now, right? We're in the beginning stages, and so adding a new map is crucial, and I'm sure there's going to be missions on that as well. New Zed. This is maybe the biggest out of what we've read so far because I do think one of the problems I've had it's not that there's not enough Zed, right? There's not enough enemies, but it is like okay, you're playing the same group over and over again. So adding even one more can really change the game. Huge. New weapons and mods, like I said, we already talked about that. Perfect. New assignment campaign and rewards. Now I don't know how big this is going to be. If it's only going to be for prison, I actually, I don't know if people agree with me on this, but I didn't really care much about the missions. To me, I think they just threw it in there to throw it in there. I don't mind just playing the gameplay loop, the survival aspect. That's just my opinion. But look, if you're going to add it in there, I'm not going to, you know, get upset about that. Okay, so let's read this before we head into 2026. Ongoing improvements. We're tuning performance, balance, and gameplay while working on new features like text chat, new difficulty settings, modding, music collectibles, comics, and more. This is huge. Okay, we need this new difficulty settings. Um, all of this stuff is really important. So I'm happy that they're saying that this could come at any time. All of this stuff could come at any time. So I think if we look at for the rest of 2025, we're in June. obviously heading into August very soon. So we have August, September, October, November, December. That's 5 months. And in 5 months, we're going to get a new map, a new specialist, a lot of new weapons, right? We're getting 2 sets of new weapons. We're getting the decoupling and the performance improvements. All of that, I think, will be perfect for getting us through this beginning or the end of the year and the beginning part of this game. 2026. Now we get season 3 and 4 in 2026. We're going to get a new map, so research base. We get new weapons and mods, a new enemy, new assignment campaign, and rewards. So basically the same stuff. And that's fine, right? When you add in a new map, when you add in the research base, a lot of replayability there. So by this point, we'll have 2 more maps by the beginning of 2026. Then we head to season 4, where we get Gunslinger, a new map. That's the new perk is Gunslinger. A new map, a new boss. Actually, wait a minute. So if this says new specialist, DJ Scully, that means this isn't going to be a perk set, is it? This will be a perk set. Okay, well, that's important to know. New perk, Gunslinger, new map, new boss, new weapons and mods, new assignment campaign, and reward. So I think when we look at this roadmap, there's a lot of exciting stuff on here. And we know that they could add more or take away less. And I think if they change some of the difficulty settings up, I think if they do a lot of those changes, I think this roadmap until the end of 2026 is more than enough, right? It is more than enough. And they can continue to add more, but this is what they got to do is build out the foundation. And once you get at the end of 2026 and we're through season 4, you should have this really good game with a ton of content, and then they could really hit the ground running, right? They could really hit the ground running. And hopefully by this point, the hardcore Killing Floor fans are really happy because they're the kind of the target group that, people, they're the hardcore fans, right? They deserve to have the game that they want because they're the ones that have been supporting the series. So I'm hoping by season 4, people feel like this game is in a really good spot and it no longer feels like a game with a good foundation, but it feels like, okay, this is the game that we were hoping it was. And I think they could pull it off. And maybe, this is going to be big, season 2, because if you really can't knock season 2 out of the park, season 3 and season 4 may not matter as much. So this right here, you're putting a new map in, you're putting a new Zed in, you're putting a new specialist in, new weapons. At the end of season 2, people need to see some really big improvements. And you could do that through this and this, right? You combine these two with these new additions, you could have a fantastic, fantastic game. So I can't wait. We're going to be covering this game a ton on this channel. I've decided, I still want to do some of the other stuff every once in a while, but right now I want to focus it on Killing Floor because I had so much fun playing Killing Floor 3. And I think this game could really be something special, right? It could be one of those games that is like, yeah, there's so much here and you dedicate a lot of time to it. So this channel is going to be all about Killing Floor 3 for quite some time. Thank you all for watching.